making me jump off the wall.
I reckon. Paulie and I always had this rule that the kids were in bed by 7. It was our time then. I don't have that time anymore. Go on. Woohoo! No, it's not good parenting. I've been keeping Lincoln up just because it lessens the amount of time I have alone.
The Southern Indian Ocean is one of the most remote areas of the world. This is where they've been hunting for MH370 for almost a year. In parts, the ocean is over 6 kilometres deep. And if the plane is here, it's almost certainly broken up and scattered into pieces.
The area that we're searching is a very challenging part of the ocean. It's remote. The sea conditions that far south at times are absolutely horrendous.
Danica.
Hi.
Alex, how are you?
Nice to meet you. Come on in.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. That is fantastic. Is that Batman's cave? Awesome. Okay, breakfast time. Monkeys, come on. It was the Friday, and he was just finishing off some of his packing, and Paul leaned down and he had a split all the way through his jeans. And I said to him, we started obviously laughing, and I said, Paulie, you can't go like that. You cannot go on a plane with split jeans. He's like, why not? Why not? And we just sat here as a family, and we did some, family videos and a family selfie video. And he was just so happy.
He was flying business class.
Yes, he was flying business class, hence he couldn't go with his split jeans. He was really looking forward to it.
Paul Weeks was heading to a mine in Mongolia where he'd just got a new job as a mechanical engineer. It was a big break. Danica and Paul are Kiwis. They met 14 years ago at the Munich Oktoberfest. They married, had 2 kids, and eventually settled in Perth.
He said he would Skype us at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was after he landed in Beijing. Because I'd put Skype on waiting for him to call us. And so we were blissfully just going about our day, not thinking about anything. And I suddenly get a phone call. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was a reporter from the New Zealand Herald. And she said to me, is Paul Weeks there? And I went, no, he's on a flight to Mongolia. Or he's on his way to Mongolia. And she said, you haven't heard then? And I said, what? And she said, there's been an incident with the plane. Yeah, darling.
It was a phone call that changed this family forever.
Okay, boys, come on, it's breakfast time. I'll see you, sweetheart.
For a brief moment, she thought Paul wasn't on the plane because his name hadn't been listed with the Australian embassy. But of course it wasn't there because they're New Zealanders living in Australia.
And this why, what, when, how is just a constant in your life. And I search on the phone, on the internet, just constantly looking for one piece of information that will tell me where they are. That's just the most crazy thing of all, is how do you lose a plane? That's what I wake up every day and say, how do you lose a plane? They fly past here every day. And I just think, it's impossible. It's truly impossible.
Breaking news out of the Far East, a Boeing 777 is missing.
We deployed our assets, but found nothing.
With few solid conclusions, most can do nothing but expect the worst.
It's not even a needle in a haystack. It's a needle in thousands of fields of haystacks.
It'll go down
history is the greatest aviation mystery that the world has seen so far.
This map shows all the different places in the southern Indian Ocean they've looked for the missing plane over the past year. The initial aerial and surface search started here. Then it moved northeast. And then further north up towards Indonesia. After that, it dropped down again. The current underwater search zone is here. Adding to the mystery and anguish for those like Danica desperate to find their loved ones is the fact that the decision to search in the southern Indian Ocean was driven by just 8 brief contacts MH370 had with an Inmarsat communications satellite.
The analysis has been an extraordinary analysis by really expert people who have worked it, peer-reviewed it. We are confident that the analysis has placed us in the right area.
We seem to have gone away from the point at which the aircraft went missing, and we're now searching in the southern Indian Ocean based on scientific data and scientific information, which even Inmarsat themselves are saying is not necessarily 100% accurate.
We've been trying to help an investigation based on a single signal once an hour from an aircraft that didn't include any GPS data, any time and distance information. So this really was a bit of a shot in the dark.
The issue with this Inmarsat data is that this data is in no way designed to track aircraft and locate aircraft on the Earth. It's merely a carrier signal to carry vital information about the airplane to Inmarsat and down to the airline company or the engine company on the ground. So they're trying to use this data for something it was never really intended for.
I mean, it's okay. They're sort of a suggestion that it's the only game in town, that this is the best information we've got to work with. So they're going with it.
The mystery of this missing Boeing 777 deepens at every point. Last October, even the CEO of Emirates, Sir Tim Clark, said he wasn't convinced by the satellite data and that he believed information regarding the incident was being withheld.
We've relied on satellite fixes, but that still left, a very, very large potential search area, perhaps more than 1 million square kilometres.
It's now the most expensive search and rescue operation in history. The Australian government set aside $90 million for the search, but it won't reveal how much it has spent to date or how much it's willing to spend.
We budgeted a certain amount of money, and we won't make decisions about what to do after that until those decisions need to be made.
When did he do this one?
This was Tuesday. Yeah, the last daycare. I keep all these. Paulie had a box of them, and he was going to put them in a big art book to keep them all, and so I keep them all, so if he does come back then he's got all the recent drawings he's done. Cute. He asked the teacher how to spell dad, because he knows how to spell Jack and Mum and Lincoln.
The detailed sonar search is now focused on a priority zone of 60,000 square kilometres. That's 2/3 the size of Tasmania. Scanning the ocean floor here is like investigating underwater mountain ranges. Steve.
G'day, Alex.
All the data collected comes here to the outskirts of Perth. Steve Duffield is MD of Fugro Offshore Survey, the company providing 3 of the 4 deepwater search vessels looking for MH370.
So this is the area where we receive the data,
Right.
and it's processed, checked, packaged, and then the search begins through the data.
So it comes directly from the boats to here?
Directly from the boats to here.
The search boats and a team of around 180 work 24/7, often in rough seas. They're towing a sonar scanner at walking speed to get the clearest possible image of the sea floor.
The most unforgivable thing we can do is survey the seafloor and miss it. So it's a one-shot deal. You're only going to go there once, so you need to make sure that when you pass over it, there's no chance of missing it. I've got enormous pressure to find this plane. Enormous pressure. We all have. We all feel a terrible responsibility to find it. This has been all-consuming for many, many people in this building since April last year. And we spend a night and day working on this.
I've shed a tear occasionally, and I can recall even last week talking to Danica Weeks. I really empathise with what she's experiencing and what she's feeling, and I think it certainly motivates you.
The search team can't tell Danica where her husband is. And although she tried briefly, she hasn't been able to face work since Paul disappeared.
Good morning. Morning, boys.
One of the most heartbreaking parts of this story is when you ask Danica what she tells 4-year-old Lincoln about his missing dad.
When I look at them is when I am the most emotional, because I know what they're missing out on and that Paul should be here.
Do you want to come and have some fruit, Lincoln?
Have some fruit? The kids, talk to Lincoln about Dad and say your dad's not here, and I mean, I haven't told Lincoln really anything about what's happened because I'm unaware myself. I just have to keep telling him that, Dad's in his heart, and hope that brings some, comfort to him. I don't know if you heard Jack last night, but if you heard he started now, he cries Daddy, because Lincoln has done it so often, and Jack just copies everything Lincoln does, and it's heartbreaking, because there's a good possibility that he will never get to know him, and Paul him. He was incredible. He was an incredible father. He was always playing with the boys. He was my best friend too. Yes. Nice one. There you go. Yeah. No water.
Danica is now living off the couple's savings. She was offered some compensation money, but turned it down.
I refused the $50,000. I mean, people might say, well, why didn't you take the $50,000 they offered? The Malaysians offered that with strings attached. It was that I had to fill out a detailed questionnaire, which included sending my children's birth certificates, or copies of. And it felt like it was an information gathering process. And so I consulted a lawyer, obviously, and they said the same. It's just to pass on to the insurance companies so they know basically what they're up for. Are you reading Mum again? Go.
The Malaysian Ministry of Transport has given the families only one report. It was just 5 pages long. It confirmed it had taken an unusually long time for air traffic controllers to check on MH370 once it had left Kuala Lumpur's airspace.
Now that's the first thing that seems to be terribly amiss. The Ho Chi Minh controller took 17 minutes to even chase the missing aircraft. That in itself is a huge problem, because the international protocols are that 2 minutes is the maximum period you allow for such a transfer call.
The report also revealed that once the plane had signed off with air traffic control, It took over 4 hours to launch a search operation. These are the last words heard from MH370.
So there's a lot of things that could have happened within those first 3 or 4 hours that would have solved the entire problem. It all could have been resolved that first night. Why wasn't it? That's my question. And it is a very frustrating and immensely strange situation to me.
Do you think you're any closer to understanding that surreal situation?
Not at all. And I have knocked on doors. I have begged for meetings. I've met with Malaysian government representatives, the head of the Next of Kin committee. And I am no further ahead. To me, it feels like the biggest aviation cover-up of all time.
We have been in full possession of all the information that the Malaysians have held from very early on to advise the work of the Search Strategy Working Group. So while there's been lots of speculation that various things have been withheld at different times, it's not accurate in my experience.
Yep.
That's for Jack?
That's for you and Jack.
What is it, do you know?
No.
It's a secret.
Yes. What Santa brought you?
What? Look what I got me a new car!
Wow. It's Christmas 2014 now. I hope to see you very soon. Merry Christmas.
There's things at the bottom.
Malaysian Airlines is a business. It needs to move on, it needs to rebuild its reputation.
This is what I feel, that they're wanting to put this aside. They're wanting, in their own words, to move beyond MH370.
There's an unfortunate conflict between commercial realities and human realities in a case like this.
Dateline requested an interview with Malaysia Airlines, but they declined and sent an email saying the following: Malaysia Airlines is not in a position to discuss or provide the information you've requested at this juncture. It's been a year of firsts without Paul for Danica, Lincoln and Jack. First Christmas, first birthdays, first time at their favourite beach.
It's so unfair. So unfair on them. And me and Paul and everyone who's on that plane. It's just so unfair that they just won't tell us. And we're stuck here. And we're still trying to fight for them just to talk to us. I'll just keep going until I have them home. That's all I want. It sounds just so simple, but it just feels so far away. I don't even know if we're ever gonna get it. I can only hope we get something. Anything. It's anything.
Look, but I still love you.
The searchers have now covered over 40% of the priority search zone in the southern Indian Ocean. You will find it?
Oh, absolutely. No doubt in my mind. We will find it, and this will be resolved. No doubt at all.
If it's where they tell us to search, we'll find it.
Absolutely sure?
Absolutely.
Not a trace of doubt?
None.
We're confident. We're confident.
I fully expect one day there'll be a phone call early in the morning and saying, we found it.
And how would you feel then?
Relieved.
I know new people on the the search, and I'm glad for their optimism and their going out there and their searching and doing it. I appreciate all of that, absolutely. But I can't tie myself in emotionally.
Danica hasn't had the heart or strength to get on a plane since Paul vanished, but she recently decided she'd face her fear and travel to New Zealand with her boys to see family and friends. Getting close to flight time.
Yes. I'm not looking forward to it, that is for sure. I've been very stressed all day.
Where do I put it?
In the boot. Thank you. Good work. I want to stay here until they have finished searching, because I feel if they find something, this is another reason why I'm petrified of going to New Zealand. I'm scared they're going to find something while I'm away.
Spending a couple of days with Danica gives you a small insight into the immense pain her and the boys are going through. It's hard to believe the same grief is being carried by so many other families. Danica tries her best to hold it together, and Lincoln's innocence is bittersweet.
Oh, I can see a plane soon. Do you think we'll see a plane?
And we might see one have crash falling down.
Oh, God. I'm petrified. Absolutely petrified. I'm going to sit on that plane and I'm going to run through every scenario of what could have gone wrong. It's going to feel like I'm retracing the steps Paul went through. I'm terrified. Hi, good, thanks.
To find some debris washed up on a beach somewhere would be an important event. But it's much more important that we actually locate the debris field. These guys don't know what's happened to their loved ones until we find the aircraft.
I think somebody will come across something, sometime, somewhere. It might be next year, it might be in 10 years, it might be 40 years. But I think that the mystery will eventually be resolved.
I'm shaking like a leaf. Sorry. So we leave you here then? Off. Thank you.
Like
it. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you think Paul's still alive?
I don't know. I wish someone would tell me, you know, I wish someone would just tell me either way. You know, I've done hopefully everything in my power to find him, and I will keep doing it until I do. And I just hope the boys can look back and see that and back that up with, you know, and Mum just wanted to find him and bring him home to them.